All right, Larry Krueger here with a 49er video brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in Northern California. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being our title sponsor. Check them out in Marin. They're open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Get the brisket chili. Amazing, amazing brisket chili. All right, let's talk Niners. Let's talk quarterbacks. Let's talk about the quarterback competition. This is one of the most interesting stories, I think, in the entire NFL. The 49ers quarterback competition. The Niners, as we sit here right now, are favored to go to the Super Bowl out of the NFC. Vegas, Caesars Palace has them as the favorite to go to the Super Bowl. Front of the Eagles, front of the Cowboys, front of the Lions, front of everybody else. Seattle, everybody else. Niners, favored to go to the Super Bowl. And yet the most important position on the field is quarterback. And they're having a quarterback competition, and let's just discuss it in every way imaginable. It's Brock Purdy, it's Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, it's Brandon Allen. May include Jack Cohn, the former Notre Dame quarterback, the former Wisconsin quarterback, played at both schools. Let's talk a little bit about it. Purdy, according to Shanahan, is on pace to return this summer. Things are looking good. He's ahead of schedule. He's throwing footballs. He's getting ready. Could be back 2-3 weeks before the opener. They're expecting him to be back for week 1. That's obviously positive. The Niners, it sounds like, really want to commit to Brock Purdy as their starting quarterback. And Brock went, what do you go, 8-0, 6-0 in the regular season if you count the Miami game, 2-0 in the playoffs, went 8-0. Then he got knocked out of the Philly game. Who knows how that would have ended. Brock was spectacular, one of the greatest rookie performances we've ever seen. And I expect him to be bigger, stronger, better, smarter. This idea that he's not going to get better is crazy. The idea that he's topped out and that there's no way for him to get better, that's lunacy. All quarterbacks can get better. Brian Griese pointed it out. He's like, hey, look, this guy can get better. There's lots of areas he can get better. Of course there are. He's the rookie quarterback coming out of Iowa State. You don't think he can get better? He can get better. But he was damn good. And what he's got is poise and smarts and tremendous competitive fire. Good enough arm strength, really underrated mobility, escapability. I mean, that's, to me, what didn't I know about Brock Purdy? I didn't know he had that level of escapability. He's got escapability like Mahomes, like Josh Allen. He's got that ability to extend plays and escape the rush. And that's what the 49ers were looking for. They wanted a quarterback on a rookie deal, but they were also looking for those traits, the escapability. And Brock's got that. So that, to me, I didn't realize. I didn't realize he had that level of escapability. He has it. And then the accuracy, the anticipation, he's got that, he's humble, but he's also insanely competitive. But it's he's a leader. He steps into the huddle. Ray McLeod described it to me. He said the first time Brock Purdy stepped in the huddle, he was commanding the offense and yelling at guys, not in a bad way, not in like, hey, I'm bragging or anything like that. It's like, hey, we got a job to do. I'm the leader. This is my huddle, my offense. Damn it, we're doing it this way. And you need that kind of gumption, man. You need that kind of toughness. You need that kind of leadership ability. You either got it or you don't, and he's got it. So there's a lot to like there. So you start with Brock. Sounds like he's getting healthy. Then let's move on to Trey. Trey's looked better and better and better. He's throwing a better ball. He looks more confident. The players love him. The coaches love him. He works hard. He's humble. He's a great person. There's tons to like. He's a terrific prospect. The only talk about moving Trey has to do with just like, they're going to commit to Brock and Trey needs to play and his timeline may not fit the Niners timeline. If they ultimately move off of Trey, it's going to be for that reason. It's not going to be because they don't like him. It's because they love him and they don't feel like his timeline fits their timeline and they don't feel like it's fair to hold his career hostage. So they're not going to move him because they don't like him. They're not going to move him because they don't believe in him. They're going to move him if they move him because his timeline doesn't fit their timeline. And he's got to play to develop, and they've got to win. It's time for them to win. It's time for them to win a Super Bowl. And he needs time to develop. And if it takes 2 years, 3 years, Trent Williams may be retired by that point. So for that reason, his timeline doesn't really jive and exactly fit the Niners timeline. But there's nothing not to like. Great kid, great athlete, a lot of positive traits. Got to be at least 5 or 6, 7 teams around the league that would just die to have Trey Lance on their roster and develop him. So I don't really. The only thing with Trey is that there's maybe 3 or 4 passes that just are really errant. When he misses, sometimes he'll miss badly high, badly low, badly early, badly late. His misses sometimes are really bad misses, but there's a ton to like there. The question I would have is he ever really going to get his opportunity with the 49ers since they want to commit to Brock Purdy and they're in their Super Bowl window and it's time for them to win right now. It doesn't seem like it's a fit. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. But that's how I assess the Trey Lance situation. Then you have Darnold, and Darnold's got a lot of bad film out there, man. Turned the ball over a lot at SC and then went to the Jets and did more of the same. But if you isolate his turnovers, you'll see that a lot of them were when he was, in games, trying like crazy to get back in it, playing from behind on a losing team, trying to make a play, throws a pick. And you do that, number of weeks in a row, suddenly you got a bunch of picks. Sam Darnold, I don't know that I would agree with Mike Martz, who made the Steve Young comparison. Steve Young had a low passer rating, maybe the lowest passer rating at Tampa, then came to the Niners, became a Hall of Famer. I don't think I see Hall of Fame for Sam Darnold, but I also don't think that his turnover totals are reflective of his potential. I think he could be really solid in the 49er offense. He throws a very good ball. He's very competitive. He's keenly aware that it's do or die time in his career. He was drafted 5 years ago. It's time for him to win. It's time for him to play good football. If he's going to do it, and there's been high expectations on Sam Darnold since he was in high school in San Clemente, it's now. There's urgency there. So this is Sam Darnold's maybe last best chance to be good and maybe to be a starter in the NFL. It's one thing if you can't do it in with the Jets on a losing team behind a bad line with young receivers. It's another thing if you can't do it with Kyle Shanahan and the bevy of weapons that the Niners have. So there's urgency here. Sam's smart. He understands. If he doesn't do it here, he probably doesn't get another shot at a starting gig. So he is desperate to be good. And what we've seen already is a guy who throws the hell out of the ball. Throws it really, really well. Made a couple throws today down the field that were just dimes, just flat dimes. So I'm still a little skeptical because I think that, you don't turn the ball over as much as he has without, making some bad decisions. And maybe he's just a bad decision maker. Or maybe he's been on some bad teams and was just a competitive guy that took too many chances and needs to be smarter with the football. But how smart can he be with the football under pressure is my big question with Sam Darnold. But the Niners feel good about him, and there's no question you're watching him throw, and you're like, wow, this guy's an NFL quarterback. He's a pocket passer with stature and size and strength, pretty good accuracy. Ball comes out. He throws a nice ball. He does. And he's got a little bit better athleticism than you think, a little bit more mobility. His highlight reel is spectacular. It's about eradicating the mistakes that he makes under pressure. And we'll see if he can do it. I'm eager to see what he can do under pressure this summer. It's go time for Sam Darnold, and he knows it, and that's probably a good thing for the Niners. And then there's Brandon Allen, who was the number 2 quarterback to Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. And Brandon Allen has a lot of the same, things that Brock Purdy has as far as a little bit more arm strength than you think, a little bit better athlete than you think. He's got kind of the same size, about 6'1", roughly 220, a little bit more competitive than you think, a little smarter than you think. He's like one of those guys you don't see coming, but then when you roll him out there, you're like, hey, you know what? This guy ain't bad. He's not bad. Not saying he's great, but he ain't a fourth quarterback in the NFL. And the fact of the matter is on this team right now, he is. He's the fourth quarterback. And you got Jack Cohn, who, is far better at Notre Dame than he was at Wisconsin, that's for sure. And, good NFL size, pretty good arm. Won't super wow you. He's kind of more of a third quarterback, but he's not going to embarrass himself. He's smart. He's competitive. He throws a pretty good ball. He's pretty accurate. He's had some success. So, I mean, what I also kind of like about Brandon Allen and Cohn is both these guys can kind of operate at the bootleg game, which is a big component of what Kyle's offense is about. He likes his quarterbacks to have some movement ability, and all of these guys, all four, if you want to call five, if you say they wind up signing Cohn, they all have movement ability. They all have the ability to play, from the pocket, but also have that movement ability to be good. If you move the pocket, or if the bootleg game, the rollout game. These guys have ability. Now, to me, Purdy throws the best on the run. I would say Brandon Allen throws the second best on the run. Trey Lance and Sam Darnold on the run, their accuracy wanes. Trey's throws on the run, his lack of accuracy on the run definitely shows up. And when he on the run, he's going to airmail it. I mean, I would say his accuracy suffers the most on the run. But Darnold also's accuracy on the run is just kind of just okay. But as far as on the move, Brock Purdy strikes, Brandon Allen strikes. So, overall, I don't know how this thing's going to shake out. But the biggest part of the Niner quarterback competition is they finished last year running out of suitable quarterbacks. And at the end of the year, I said to all of you guys, the Niners can't get in that position again. They can't have quarterbacks on their roster that are too young or too old, guys who are there for other reasons besides they can play. They have to have every quarterback on the team be able to play games and win games. And that is exactly what they've done this offseason. You got Purdy, you got Lance, you got Sam Darnold, you got Brandon Allen. You got four quarterbacks there that you could start, you could win games with. I really believe the Niners could win games with Brandon Allen. Might have to be a run-heavy plan, but they could win games. They can win games with Sam Darnold. They can win games with Trey Lance. They proved that they could win games last year with Brock Purdy. So, in a lot of ways, when you look at the way last year ended, you just want to make sure that you don't have any more quarterbacks on the roster that are just like, future. This guy's going to be good in 3 years, but he can't play at all now. They don't have anybody like that. They don't have anybody in the roster who's like, this guy's only on the roster because he lives right, around the block, or this guy's only in the roster because he's old but he's cheap. They took a very serious approach to building their quarterback room, and they have four guys they can win games with. And at the end of the day, that's probably a huge win for the 49ers and their fans. I don't know how it's going to shake out. My guess is that Brock Purdy's going to be the number one guy, that Darnold and Allen will be, 2 and 3, and Lance will be somewhere else. That's my guess, but I don't know. And if you told me that Brandon Allen was going to beat out Sam Darnold and become the number 2 guy and be more dependable than Sam Darnold, wouldn't shock me. He's pretty athletic, pretty resourceful, little bit, kind of underrated. And playing with Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow's, there's a lot to like about Joe Burrow and his preparation and the way he played the game. And if any of that rubbed off on Brandon Allen, and I think it did, the Niners may have caught lightning in a bottle. So I wouldn't be shocked if Brandon Allen became the number 2 quarterback at some point this year. But I think overall, if you're a 49er fan, you got to feel great. When you hear Shanahan say, I feel great about my quarterback room, I would too. Look at all the talent you got. Darnold's a 1/2, and he's right now the 3rd quarterback. Brandon Allen's the number 2 quarterback right now. On the Niners, he's number 4. Trey Lance has got a world of potential if they decide to keep him or move him. He's got a ton of talent, and he's a great kid. Everybody likes him. And then you got Purdy, who's, I think, one of the best young quarterbacks I've seen come into the league in a while. And I'm not overstating that. I got a lot of belief in Brock. So the Niners are in a good position at quarterback for sure. And Shanahan's got a reason to feel good. And how it all shakes out, I don't know. Hopefully Purdy stays healthy and the Niners go to the Super Bowl in Vegas and win it. But you never know. But the nice thing is, if they got to go to QB2, they got to go to QB3, if it gets into this situation where they're going through guys again, every single one of those guys they can win games with. And at the end of the day, that's a positive. All right, hope you enjoyed our 49er competition discussion in our video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. And thanks to all you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.